As a result of the Supreme Court decision in the McGee case, the present position is that every kind of contraceptive device can be freely imported into this country without control or limitation of any sort. That gives rise to an intolerable situation.
Cégur beag vótaí a bhí sa phríochnaíonn do Forty an Rialtais faoi 1969 bacchas don Ara Leish Charlie Haughey nach raibh an dara rá acu ach reachtaíocht a chréochtú. Ach ordlach nach raibh ar a géirí curás dá lucht leanta dílis cumádach chonadar ar chóréiteach.
Ach níor cadaige ach dóibh súd a bhí pósta. Agus bhechar chuine dul chuig potacéir agus idas in a láimh acu.
So doctors could write a prescription for condoms, but they had to be careful that they only wrote prescriptions for people who were married, for what Haughey called the bona fide family planning purposes. The whole thing was couched in ridiculous language.
Ní raibh céalna réasún leis agus bhí go Charles Haughey é seo agus dúirt sé, well, it's an Irish solution to an Irish problem.
This was done without any consultation with the medical profession. So many of us, those on the liberal side and those on the conservative side, were opposed to this. I went around and I got 160 signatures from doctors saying that they were not going to cooperate with this act. Please don't pass it. But we were completely ignored. The act was passed in 1979 and became law in 1980, such that you couldn't get a condom in Ireland unless you had a prescription. There was a Christmas party of the Irish Medical Times at the time, and Haughey came in. He said, I'm going to make money for you doctors, yes, with reference to his Family Planning Act. In other words, we're going to get money now for prescribing condoms. And everybody thought this was great fun. Ha, 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 everybody laughing. And I was getting more and more annoyed. So I took Haughey aside and I said, I'm certainly not going to cooperate with this. You're not going to get away with this. This is ridiculous. And he thought I was conservative and I wasn't going to prescribe condoms because it was against my religion. He got the wrong end of the stick completely.
Mar gheall ar a chuid taithí héin i Canada, bhí ulc ar rinn faoi churisteach an rialtais an seo, is saol príomháideach an saoránaigh. Faoin drá seo ba léir an dochtúir gur cheart sibhialta a bhí ann, agus lean sé leis gordú cuscíní don na pacaigh.
It occurred to me that the only way to get this law changed is to go out and break it.
Hastig ó lehéadí Andrew Rinn, leanúntartha a tarring to order an vibe, mar mun an éon fáil sin ní tharlóg feich. Agus tuis go raibh sé sin a saláthar phríochnaíonn do dhaoine ón a chluineadh céin, rud nar cheartá a bheith a déanamh, do dhaoine nach raibh pósta. Thosna sé i scríomh go dtíon DPP chuna insintá go raibh sé seo a dhéanamh aige. Ní tharla feich. Agus an son sa déir a thocraigh sé le cósan leis, go níolthach sé phríochnaíonn leis a bharsa, agus go dúradh an fear airige do, agus go dúradh sé a bháil do. So dhéanamh éis sin, agus an son heolaidir an tal a bháil go dtís na Gardaí chun ar thuspáint go raibh sé seo déantaige.
Within 2 weeks, he had the Gardaí into my surgery to collect the evidence, which I had ready for them anyway. And I'd say the Gardaí weren't used to talking to criminals who are so cooperative.